Well, they are absolutely devastating and despicable attacks, and I think what shocked everyone is that on the holiest day of the year for Christians, when people have gone to church to celebrate the peace of the Easter message, there should be this kind of murderous attack by terrorists who completely misunderstand what this moment is all about for Christians going to church on Easter Day. So I think everyone is very, very shocked. Obviously we're thinking about the Brits, who we know some have been involved. Our High Commissioner in Sri Lanka is working very hard. There's a telephone line on the Foreign Office website for people who want to find out more if they've got worries. But I think there is a broader issue here about the persecution of Christians worldwide. We had those terrible attacks 2 years ago in Alexandria in Egypt, the attacks in the Philippines earlier this year. In fact, 3,000 Christians were killed last year because of their faith, more than any other religious group. Unfortunately, there is a broader trend of the persecution of Christians, and whilst we wholeheartedly condemn attacks on all faiths, no one should ever suffer discrimination or harassment or death because of who they choose to worship. The reality is that attacks on Christians have been growing. 3,000 deaths in the last year alone. That was double the previous year, and perhaps there hasn't been as much attention focused on the persecution of Christians as there should have been, and that's why the Foreign Office has asked for an independent review to be done by the Bishop of Truro to look into what more we in the UK could do to defend the rights of Christians across the world. Well, 5 is the latest figure that I've heard, but obviously our High Commissioner is working on this with his team in the embassy in Colombo, working around the clock. And we're trying to gather as much information as we can about this. There's a crisis centre that's been set up, and there is an emergency helpline on the gov.uk website for anyone who has concerns about friends or relatives who may be holidaying in Sri Lanka. Well, I wouldn't want to speculate on that before we allow the police to do their investigation. Obviously there are all sorts of theories going around, but the truth is that all attacks on people, whether it's in synagogues, mosques, churches or wherever, are utterly despicable, because these are people who are practicing religions that celebrate peace, and we should respect that. And that's why I think for this to happen on Easter Day is something that will shake people around the world of all faiths and none to the core. Well, we have updated our travel advice for people travelling to Sri Lanka to take account of this latest incident. We haven't changed the travel advice at this stage. We keep it constantly under review, but as of now the travel advice hasn't changed. But of course my team at the Foreign Office will be reviewing that in the light of anything new that comes to light. Well, obviously at the first possible opportunity I will try and speak to my Sri Lankan counterpart to express the condolences that I and everyone in the UK feels about what's happened, this totally sickening attack. And of course we'll also be saying that we are there to help them in any way we can through the Department for International Development or the Foreign Office. If there's any help that the UK can give, we would want to give it.